Welcome in live to Pizzaville, USA for another installment of the GP. Are You With Me, Character Coaches Show. I'm Blaine Viatar, and I'm joined by the guest of honor every week.
I don't know about guest of honor,
Coach,
man, but
head
hey,
coach Gavin
I'm
Peters.
gonna do like we telling our kids. I'm gonna keep showing up, brother. I'm gonna keep showing up.
Hey, and last week you guys showed up in a big way. Went on the road just north of Baton Rouge, then went to perennial power in the whole state of Louisiana, and went toe to toe. Battled into a 1 point game. Look, I know you're not one for moral victories, but that one sure felt good for the Bears.
Well, I think that if I step outside of my shoes and I look at it from both a coach's perspective and a sports perspective, right? It definitely was a great performance by us, or a good competitive showing. Gave ourselves a chance to win against a great program, um, who's they have a lot of experience. Their players have a lot of experience. Their staff has a lot of experience. Um, they don't have many weaknesses. Let's just put it that way. From the school to the community to finances to resources. Zachary High School and Zachary Independent School District is as best as it gets. And for Carencro, Louisiana, and for us to go out there and compete in a game like that and have a chance to win it in the end, I think it speaks volumes of our program. I think it speaks volume of our school, our community, and what we're aspiring to be.
And look, it wasn't a game where you just kind of lucked your way in there. I mean, you went toe to toe and battled all 4 quarters and found a way to be in that game. Getting better each and every week. What are the things that really stood out from your young team in week 3?
Well, I thought we found a way to um, manufacture some success offensively. Um, from like you said, I think that's a good point that you made. The STM game, we didn't necessarily play very well, but we just somehow competed our way to having a chance to win. But I think this past week we played our way from the opening kickoff to have a chance to win the game. And I think we just kind of had consistent success on the offensive side of the ball. It was one of those games where, they always say, and I heard Coach Davidson say this years ago, it ain't never as bad as it seemed. It ain't never as good as it looked. I got on the bus that night thinking that we, did pretty well offensively, and I watched the film, and I mean, it was about as ugly as it can get.
Oh, come on, coach. You got to give yourself a little more credit than
Oh
that.
man, that's one thing I will always tell the kids. I'm gonna tell the truth now, But I thought we did a solid job of just manufacturing some consistent success for 4 quarters on the offense side of the ball. Even though we didn't play very well defensively, look, we knew it was going to be a challenge defensively. They're very big up front. They reminded us a lot of Turlings up front. So very big, really good offensive line play. Schematically, they're very, very difficult to defend, especially when you're undersized and inexperienced as well. So we knew that was going to be a challenge, but I still thought we got a big stop right before half that we had a mental error. If we don't have a mental error on our very first play, that was a sudden change situation, and we game plan for that. And I thought we had a good call on that situation, but we had a mental error out there on the field, and we didn't communicate the right way, and we didn't execute. If we executed the right way, we score on the very first play after that fourth down stop. So we could have been up 2 scores, going into halftime. But we got a big stop on defense. Even though special teams was a GLP for us. We had 2 GLPs in special teams this past week, and probably had more. It just didn't we didn't protect the punt very well either. But hopefully we got some of that stuff fixed. The onside kick. After
As
we misaligned on the extra point, okay, and got the extra point blocked, so we're down one, okay, with a minute and a half left. They call a timeout. Got a chance to go to the sideline and regroup, and we still go out there and execute the onside kick. I thought that was huge. And look, I've been saying this for weeks. We got 6 brand new coaches. Like, this is their first year of a coach. I was talking to my boy Lou Cook this weekend. I said, how many first-year guys y'all got on staff? And then he started counting, and he said, Gavin, 9 years is the least amount of
I
years
was
we
about
have.
to say,
So
over at Notre Dame, they're not
so
breaking in new
9
coaches
years.
often.
That's right. So our best footballers ahead of us. Not only for the guys in the coach's office, the ones in the locker room. We got a lot of football left ahead of us, both this year and in future years. So I'm very grateful for these experiences. Not only the last 3 weeks, the last 5 weeks, including the jamboree and including the scrimmage. And Coach Pettis actually brought this up today. Do you know who we were supposed to play in the official scrimmage before Westgate? Ruston. and that one got canceled. So, we've been through the. There's nothing better to offer in the state of Louisiana than what we've been through the last couple of weeks. So we're taking it in stride and going forward in the right direction.
And of course, Coach Pettis, Kobe Pettis, defensive coordinator at Carencro, he's going to join us in the third segment tonight. So a lot still to get to. I want to kind of stick with it when we talk about this Zachary game and right before the half. Getting that fumble, Wilson Landry was able to pick it up, scoop and score for a touchdown. That had to really give the kids a lot of momentum and belief going into the half.
Well,
What was the mood like into the locker
yeah,
room?
that's what we're kind of disappointed about. You would think in a situation like that you should be motivated, but then we came out in the second half, and it's almost like we didn't want to be there. And I don't know if you chalk that up to inexperience. Looking back at it, it's unfortunate, but I guess I'm not quite sure how much confidence we had going in there. But I was as giddy and the staff was as giddy as all can get, that we're going into halftime at Zachary. And then I talked with Coach McCullough. Me and Coach McCullough talked for about an hour Friday night after the game when I got home. And he said, y'all had those guys, man. He said, I don't know how many games they've lost at their place in the last 10 years. And then Coach Joey looked it up. They've only lost 5 games at their place in the last 10 years, and we could have been at 6-1. So, I'm hoping that the next time we're in a situation like that we have a better mindset and understand that we just had one of the best programs, not only in the state of Louisiana, but in the country, on the ropes at their place up at halftime. We got to come out in the second half and be firing on all cylinders and seize the opportunity that we have. And we didn't do that this past Friday, and that's disappointing, but we got another opportunity this week and in the future weeks as well.
If you're just joining us right here on the Carencro Bears Network, it's the GP. Are You With Me Carencro Coaches Show, and we're live right here at Pizzaville, USA, each and every Tuesday night. You can come out and join us at 114 Derrick Plaza on Veterans Boulevard, right off of Exit 4. Of course, Mondays, buy one, get one. Tonight,
the party.
Friday will get you lunch here at Pizzaville, USA. Coach, on the offensive side of the football is something that was very concerning for you. I could see it in your face, trying to figure it out and figuring out who you were, what your identity was. I think you figured out a little bit on Friday night who you're going to be going forward.
Yeah, look. We want to be able to run our complete offense, and we're going to continue to work and develop to be able to run our complete offense. Coach Zito, who's defense coordinator at Zachary, he asked me on Saturday. He said, Coach, did y'all plan on being in that much two-back? I said, yes, sir, absolutely. We planned on it because that's the best thing we do right now. But hopefully as the weeks go on, we get better and better to where we can run our complete offense that we've been running the last 2 years because when we're able to do those things, it provides a lot of stress. Steve Sarkisian said this at a clinic maybe about 3-4 years ago, and it changed my life because you always hear, keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. And then I heard Steve Sarkisian say that the more things you can do well, the tougher you are to defend. So we want to try to do as many things well as we possibly can. And I think we were a little bit better at it last week in some aspects. What we're trying to do right now is establish some toughness. We want to establish some toughness. And believe it or not, the blocks are a little bit easier, with the schemes that we're running when we're in two-back, and we're just trying to put our kids in the best position to be successful. Why did we kind of start evolving and becoming what Coach Corville famously branded it as the veer and shoot or the veer raid? We did that because of the players that we had in our program. Chance Caesar, Chance Babineau, Kendrick Bernard, Cameron Cyprian. We had a really good offensive line at the time. We weren't extremely big in the backfield, even though those two backs ended up being tremendous backs in the history of this school. They didn't necessarily have the size and the DNA of, your traditional Carencro backs. So no different than 2 years ago, we kind of evolved to the veer and shoot to take advantage of the personnel that we had this past week. And for right now, we've kind of going back home a little bit and running what we call the two-back classics, to give our kids a chance to be successful on the field. But we're hoping as the weeks go on, we be able to run our complete offense, which is being able to get in and out of whatever we want.
Look, last week you told me and everybody listening right here on the Carencro Bears Network, talked about limiting snaps for certain guys and, riding the hot hand and getting a stable of backs in the backfield. And then this past week we saw a whole lot of Brian Amune and T.J. Jackson in the backfield. Is that something that game just kind of lended itself to, or is that kind of where we are now?
Yeah, look, man, those two guys would be really, really good tailbacks in our offense if that's all they played. I also got a call from one of my um, guy that I admire very dearly. It has a lot to do with the coach I am today, Coach Scott McCullough. Him and I talked for about 20, 30 minutes. He called me on Saturday, and I was very grateful for that phone call. But he said, Coach, your back's hit it. He said they got a little bit tired. I said, yeah, Coach, they play both ways. That's why they got a little bit tired, So they're not only were they taking carries, they were also out starting Mike linebacker and starting Will linebacker. So those two kids would be really good tailbacks if they only played on the offense side of the ball. But we've got to adapt to the situation that we have, and those two guys are very resilient, and they will get better and better as the year goes on. It's tough to be a two-way player. That is extremely tough. I didn't see Zachary having any two-way players out there.
Not a single one,
I
Coach.
didn't see LCA. Well, Calvin Parker, was a good player.
He goes a little bit both ways.
STM didn't have any two-way players. Westgate didn't have any two-way players. Turles didn't have any two-way players. We might be the only big-time 5A program that has two-way players, and it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We're accustomed to that. We've been having to operate like that for about 2 years now, and we're going to continue to do it until our roster and our personnel gets to the point to where we can have solo position guys.
We'll let Coach Kobe Pettis give us a little bit more in depth on the defense. But from your perspective, I mean, you faced three potent offenses to start the year, and it's been a mixed bag. It's been really good at times, and sometimes you're searching for that stop. Mm-hmm. What did you like that you saw from the defense this week, and what can we expect moving forward?
That we're just being resilient, man. It's tough on us right now. We're very undersized up front. We're kind of shuffling some cards around to try to just experiment and explore and see what combination of guys we can put up there to get us to play winning football, But we're not playing very good complementary football right now, To be, first of all football games are won up front, okay, on both sides of the football. And we've got to play complementary football up front with our defensive line and our linebackers, and that's kind of a challenge right now. But we've got to run two coaching. Coach Mike Tomlin said that years ago. We've got to run two coaching right now. We've got to coach those guys up and get them better. We got to get them better.
Of course, if you're just joining us, this is the GP. Are you with me? Karen Crow Bears Network. Each and every week right here at Pizzaville, USA. We're also brought to you by the original Ground Patty over at 505 West Pont de Mouton. And, Coach, I don't know if you've been over there. I say it every week. I haven't got to tell you yet. Get the fried chicken. It is phenomenal. Not a lot of folks know it. Go off the menu and please get the fried chicken at Ground Patty. One thing, too, that we did speak about is you got to start starting games quicker and staying in the ball game, and that's something you were able to do. Does that show that the team may be maturing a little bit and kind of understanding as we get into that third week?
Absolutely, man. I was very, very, very proud of Kyton Davis this past Friday. I think that kid is kind of coming into his own, and we've been kind of challenging him this week to take it even a step further. All great players make their teammates better. All great players make their teammates better, and he's kind of getting into a position now where he's kind of establishing himself as a good high school football player. Now the next challenge for him is to become a great high school football player and then also help everybody else around him become good and great high school football players. But I thought he had a huge game on Friday. I thought Chance Babineau, made some big plays for us in the passing game. He had a big touchdown run, I believe, in the second quarter, where he kind of got on the edge, and we would have broke one later in the game as well. We had one block that we missed, and it kind of cost us right there. But, I just thought that we had some guys step up, on the offense side of the ball. I thought Brian Amune, I thought he had some big, tough runs. I thought he had some big, physical, tough runs. I thought TJ also had some good runs. It's just about us putting it together, man. From the moment I've gotten to Karen Crow and I've been talking about becoming a championship program, I've always echoed to every one of our teams that championship programs don't beat themselves. They make you earn every single thing. And what did Zachary do? They made us earn everything. What did STM do? They made us earn everything. What did LCA do? They made us earn everything. I'm not quite sure if we made the other team earn everything. Both in every phase of the game, offensively, defensively, and special teams. Way entirely too many GLPs, which we call game losing plays, and we've got to fix those things. But overall, highly encouraged. Everybody's 0-0 now. That's the reality of the situation. Everybody is 0-0. A new season started this week in District 3-5A. No matter what happened the first 3 weeks, it's a new season starting this week. Everybody's 0-0, and everybody's saying the same thing. to their team. You know, I told our guys that on Monday, and we begin our quest of hopefully competing for a district championship this week.
You know, and I think you led me into my next question. I mean, you lost your first 3 games. You're 0-3, 2 of them by a point against perennial powers. Your other game you lost on the road to a team that's played for umpteenth state championships over the last 10 years.
Which was also a close game. It was 26-21
Oh,
in the
yeah,
fourth
yeah,
quarter.
I mean, it was
very
yeah,
misleading.
you could have scored and made it a 10-point game to close it out. Look, this is everybody's 0-0, but how's the team's mindset?
Well, we're struggling. I mean, we're struggling. It's 14, 15, 16-year-old kids, you know. I mean, you know how we were when we were that age. You know, we're struggling. You know, we're struggling, and we're going through a storm right now. But I always tell our kids, you're either in a storm, coming out of a storm, or you got one on the way. And you better learn how to operate and navigate through all three of those phases, you know. So, look, just like I said when we first opened up, I'm going to keep showing up. I know the coaches that we have in here and the coaches that are in our office are going to keep showing up. And we've had some great players step up this week. You know, Chance Babineau so far has had an awesome week of practicing. Very proud of the way he's been operating. And we need him to operate to the highest of standards. You know, he hadn't quite done that yet. But the greatest opportunity to learn is when you make a mistake. You know, we learn more in life from failure. It's a shame that it has to be that way. But we learn more in life from failure than we do from success, you know. And that was the message to the team when we closed practice today. Let's go back to the previous seasons, okay? So the preseason, okay, we didn't operate the correct way. We saw what happened. We had a really good summer, okay? But in the offseason, we didn't quite really have a good offseason, okay? There was some guys that weren't operating to the standards. So trying to get them to learn from their past failures, okay, and not make those same mistakes again, all right? And we're just hoping that, you know, we can learn from what just transpired and be solid and be champions going forward.
Well, Coach, let's close the book on that opening 3-game stretch, and I'm going to let you step aside and eat your crustless pizza. You'll join us in the fourth segment, and we'll get to talk about the Bar Bucks. We're going to step aside as a whole, but when we come back, Ms. Phyllis Sashon is going to join us, and we're going to talk about the link crew around Carencro High, right here on your home for anything Carencro High, the Carencro Bears Network.
8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Save the date you don't want to miss.
Pump the party. Mr. Mina Cannon. Pump the party. Prime Time Cannon. Pump the party. Lil Squirrel Cannon. Pump the party. Black Minutes Cannon. Pump the party. Steve Slim Cannon. Pump the party. Lil Lip Cannon. Pump the party. Old Boy Cannon. Pump the party. Mr. Cole Cannon. Pump the party. 40T Cannon. Pump the party. Big Boy Cannon. Pump the party. CC Cannon. Pump the party. Who run this? Who rule it?
Are you a jambalaya fan? And would you like to eat all you can eat jambalaya for only $10? If the answer is yes, then come out and support Carencro's Bears Kickdown Club at their 3rd annual Jambalaya Cook-Off. There will be food, music, live and silent auctions, and a whole lot of fun available to you. And for my cooks, sign up so we can see who really has the best jambalaya around. This will all take place on October 26, 2024 at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Save the date you don't want to miss.
Pump the party. Mr. Mina Cannon. Pump the party. Prime Time Cannon. Pump the party. Lil Squirrel Cannon. Pump the party. Black Minutes Cannon. Pump the party. Steve Slim Cannon. Pump the party. Lil Lip Cannon. Pump the party. Old Boy Cannon. Pump the party. Mr. Cole Cannon. Pump the party. 40T Cannon. Pump the party. Big Boy Cannon. Pump the party. CC Cannon. Pump the party. Who run this? Who rule it?
Good players. Yeah. Right now, welcome back live on the Carencro Bears Network. This is the GP. Are you with me? Carencro Coaches Show. We're live from Pizzaville, USA. And I have a special treat. I have Ms. Phyllis Sashon on us right now. She's the head of the Link Crew. She's also the English 3 teacher on campus and a former Carencro Bear at that. Tell us about it. What year you graduated, Ms. Phyllis? 95?
I graduated in 1981.
81, that same year as my dad, right?
Yeah, the school was actually there, and I teach in the classroom where I used to take English.
Wow. And
So
was
that's
that the
kind of
same classroom that you took English 3?
I don't think so. I just know I took an English class.
You,
there.
you can't
I'm not
remember
sure
that
which
far
one.
back? You too young for that, Miss
No,
Phyllis. So
no.
you do a pretty extraordinary thing over on campus, and you lead a group of students to something called Link Crew. And I was talking to our guy Ross Noel before we came on, and he was talking about how you kind of helped facilitate that over at Karen Crow and how big of a deal it is. So tell our listeners exactly what Link Crew is, and what do you guys do for the student population?
Okay, Link Crew is a national organization. Actually, they have Link Crew in other countries, not just in the United States. You go to a special training, and what you do is you link up the leaders of your school, your juniors, your seniors, with freshmen. And so our idea is to get more freshmen involved in the school. We try to help them if they have problems. We try to encourage them to join clubs. And it's kind of like a big brother, big sister program, but the teenagers go through a training. And so they are trained to be able to lead the school. And we have kids from everywhere. We have football players, we have basketball players, we have track, we have band, we have all different kids from different areas to try to reach out to our students.
And Ms. Vanessa and I, the principals, are doing a great job really restoring
Mm-hmm.
the culture of Karen Crowe High School, and it's 10 times better than it was over the last 5 to 6 years. And I, you played a big part of that, and this organization played a big part of that. How big of a deal is that for the freshmen to be able to come on the campus and be able to have something to latch on to and to help kind of acclimate them to a big step and change in life?
First of all, Miss Knott came to the training with me, and
Okay.
she totally supports all of the things that we do, and so that's great. We get ideas, and we can get started. We pretty much know we've got her backing. Um, the students like it so much that the biggest thing is probably this. I have students who are now in Link Crew who are in Link Crew because when they were freshmen, they so admired their Link Crew leader. And so that says a lot right there. Our freshmen now have a person that they can talk to. We had a very smooth start of school. They made friends with the freshmen, the juniors and seniors did. They showed up on the first day of school. They walked them to classes. They remind them about what they need to do. So it's working great. It really is.
And what kind of events do y'all have surrounded by Link Crew? Do y'all have specific, like gatherings or something to kind of get people into it and involved?
We do. Every Friday in the morning, our seniors and juniors, some sophomores actually, go and teach lessons to the freshman classes.
Wow.
And so during the week we practice what that activity is going to be, and we practice what their message is going to be, and then they go in there and they take over.
How cool of an experience that is, not only for them in the high school realm, but to prepare them for life. That's real, real world examples on how you could do, be a leader and be somebody that folks could reach out to. How do folks get chosen to be in this particular organization?
That's an interesting question. They actually fill out forms. This year we had over 100 applicants. We took 60. And so you have to yourself, you have to be involved because we want you to bring other people in and to be involved. So we want that. And you have to be a student who's willing to behave and follow all the rules. It's okay if you messed up a little bit. We'll still take you. We'll still take you.
Hey, everybody makes mistakes, right? Nobody's perfect.
And that's our point. And so they come on in and we show them and we work together and they do a great job. They really, really do a great job.
If you just joining us, this is the GP. Are You With Me? Karen Crowe Coaches Show right here live on the Karen Crowe Bears Network each and every Tuesday night. Of course, if you want to come out and join us, we're live from Pizzaville, USA, right here in the Derrick Plaza, right off of Exit 4 on Veterans Boulevard in the Crow. Of course, tonight is Tuesday night. That means kids eat for free, so bring the whole family and join us and have a great time. So tell me about this is a football-related show.
Yay.
So what football players do you have associated with this program currently right now?
In the program,
Yeah.
in Link Crew, oh, I don't know if I can remember them all.
Oh, so you have a good bit.
Oh,
So this is
yeah.
a strong
Yeah.
a strong culture group.
Absolutely. We like having, well, the thing of it is that we have a lot of our football players with us in the group. We have, they go out there and they do their thing. But the bigger deal is that when our kids talk to each other in the in-link crew, they see the need from other groups. For example, they got their student section moved and they're trying to grow the student section for the football team. And so they got together, they had football player, they had a guy who's now, Max is in charge of pretty much getting it started. We had a cheerleader on board, a band member, we had a dazzler. They all got together, they decided what they wanted, how their rules were going to be, and they presented to the administration and got permission because they figured that needed to be done. And so there's a lot of stuff going on that's also allowing all of these students not so much to just be in their little huddle of people, but to be able to actually integrate and start to invite people over. Their big thing right now is to get the freshmen. We even had a lesson a couple of weeks ago about how to go to the game and how to pay and where to sit and all that kind of stuff so that they would be prepared to come and immediately take part in our stuff. So yeah,
I
we're
love
trying
it.
to support everything and everyone and get the school back to one school, one idea, everybody working together and supporting each other.
Miss Phyllis Sashon joining us right now. She is the head of the Link crew as well as an English 3 teacher over at Karen Crow. Look, I don't think I've been to a Bears event in the last 10 years that you weren't there. I mean,
Oh.
baseball, basketball, soccer, it doesn't matter. Miss Phyllis is always front and center and supporting the Bears. It's in your blood.
Well, that's part of it. But as I told the kids, and I really believe this, I told them, I said, you come into my classroom every single day, and you sit and you watch me do what I love to do, and you support me. And so I'm going to go and support what you love to do. I want to go see you do it, something that you really want to do.
And you embody it. I
And I
see you
think
on the
it's
road.
fun.
I see you. Look, you take the show on the road. You come over to Karen Crow. You support wholeheartedly. You don't miss. You're very dedicated.
That's our
And that's
kids.
something to really admire, especially in this day and age. You know, these kids need that support, and you give it each and every time. So, look, Bears season this year, not off to the best of start. We're 0-3, still searching for their first win in the Gavin Peters era. What's so far that you saw from these Golden Bears on Friday nights that you liked, and how do you see us being able to turn it around?
It's turned around.
Okay, we're getting there, right?
It's already turned. Yeah, I've already made the turn. What I really like, and I tell this to the boys every single Monday when they come in, because I teach most of the juniors, and we talk about what happened and all of that. My big thing is that I am proud of them every week because those kids never give up. They don't give up. And I think that that's a huge thing that we haven't talked about. But in the past, I've seen them put their heads down. I've seen them, when it starts to look against them. And instead, I'm seeing them pick their heads up and get in there and fight it and really want it. And that's impressive, that they don't give up.
And look, they're battle tested. The schedule they've played has been brutal, and
We've
they've been
talked about
there,
that
and
too.
they've been there, fighting fist to
They
fist
do.
with the best of the best. And look, they've been there.
Mm-hmm.
They could have pulled out a couple of those wins. Before I let you go, I want to make sure that you get back to your pizza and cold drinks over there. Give me a fun fact. You say you teach a lot of juniors. That's a strong part of this year's team. Give us a fun fact of some of the Golden Bear juniors maybe that they might not want us to know about.
Oh, I can't do that. I can't call them out like
Come on,
this.
you can do that. Huh? You can't do us like that?
No.
So you're dedicated, right? You're going to stick through
He
with it.
wants me to rat out the kids what they do in the classroom. I can't do that. I can tell you that they're fun to teach. Yeah, we teach the same kids. No, I can't rat them out, but they're fun. They're fun to teach. Most of them want to learn and want to do well. And right now, believe it or not, those big old guys that get out there and fight and push are really enjoying the book, The Great Gatsby.
Okay, The Great Gatsby. All right.
They're
That's
really
what y'all
liking The
on
Great
right now.
Gatsby. Yeah, they really liking the 1920s, especially the cars. We just looked at that this week.
Everybody loves a good
Oh,
classic car,
those
right?
cars are beautiful.
Well, Miss Phyllis, I appreciate you joining us. I had a lot of fun talking with you. I love what you're doing with Link Crew.
We
I think
try.
it's great for the culture of the school and those young adults that are really trying to show their way in life.
And they are. They really are.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We're going to step aside when we come back. Defensive coordinator, Coach Kobe Pettis, is going to join us, and he'll tell us about his journey over to Karen Crow and what we can expect from the defense for the rest of the season. Right here in your home for Karen Crow High Football, Karen Crow Bears Network.
No doubt about it. It's helped the whole community. When we went to the state championship in '92, it brought the whole community together. I care about the school, I care about the community, and I love the team.
You see Jimmy Brasseau's love for Karen Crow football in the sign outside his service station. You see it in the bear paws painted on his driveway.
I just went walking around the Crow Dome just the other day. I wanted to talk to the Golden Bear to hear what he had to say. I asked him how his life had been with all the hype and glory. And he replied, "It's been just fine." But you know all that story.
Carencro Bears burst onto the 92 season with high expectations. Following 1991's playoff appearance, the Bears seemed loaded with talent as they returned many seasoned veterans. The fans packed the stands for the Bears' home opener, 1992 versus the Sulphur Tours. As expected, blue-chip running backs Derek Beavers and Ernest Lazard flourished under the Bears' ground control offense. Perhaps the most pleasant surprise of the first game of the season for Coach Mac Virus would be the outstanding performance of sophomore quarterback Kevin Falk.
To put it simply, Kevin Falk was unbearable for the opponent. Carencro's biggest bear can't believe he's regarded as one of the nation's top 3 running backs in high school.
Yeah, it really surprised me a lot. Being from a small town like Carencro, being one of the top running backs in the nation, yeah, it surprises me.
Wade Ritchie managed to squeak through a 10-7 lead at halftime for the Bears. Wade Ritchie's 45-yard field goal would give the Bears a 33-13 lead, and from there the game was never in doubt. 14 yards rushing and 4 touchdown effort on the night, the Bears stood on the brink of the championship. Next up, the Louisiana Superdome.
We went from no team to losing almost every game to state championship.
No doubt about it. It's helped the whole community. When we went to state championship in '92, it brought the whole community together. I care about the school, I care about the community, and I love the team.
What are the Bears? Well, I think, quite frankly, after 4 days and a long rainy night, we have found out that the Bears are family.
No doubt about it. It's helped the whole community. When we went to state championship in '92, it brought the whole community together. I care about the school, I care about the community, and I love the team.
You see Jimmy Brasseau's love for Carencro football in the sign outside his service station. You see it in the bear paws painted on his driveway.
I just went walking around the Crow Dome just the other day. I wanted to talk to the Golden Bear to hear what he had to say. I asked him how his life had been with all the hype and glory, and he replied, "It's been just fine, but you know all that story."
Welcome back to the GP Are You With Me? Carencro Bears Football Coaches Show. I'm Blaine Viatar, and I'm now joined by Carencro Defensive Coordinator Kobe Pettis. Kobe, thanks for joining me tonight. Lucky to have you aboard.
Thank you for having me.
Third year here at Carencro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, tell us how Kobe Pettis got to Carencro and talk a little bit about how you started in the coaching.
So I, attended UL. Started off in mechanical engineering. After a couple of classes, I felt, engineering wasn't for me. I couldn't do this for the rest of my life. I love football, played football. I always loved sports, so wanted to get into the sports side. Got into sports management. Got an internship with the athletic marketing department at UL. Started doing that. Really wasn't too happy with that. So I had a passion for coaching. I was the Powder Puff coach for our high school team.
Hey,
2 years in a row, 2 championships,
Right.
So I was the Powder Puff coach there, and I just, kind of had a passion for coaching, big X's and O's guy. So I emailed, I was researching, looking up, how to get in coaching, how to get a start. So I emailed our video director at UL. Got started there, got an internship with video, and then I asked him, I said, is there any possible way I can, get into the coaching side? He introduced me to the running backs coach, Coach Jabbar Jaluk. And so then from there I started working as a student assistant with the running backs there, up there all the time, working, football, learning a lot under Coach Napier, all of that. Then, I kind of needed to work a job. So I pledged Kappa, me and Gavin are frat brothers. Well, his little brother is my line brother. And so I hit him up. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get to the high school level. I know your older brother, he's in our frat. He's into the coaching. He was, offensive coordinator at Carencro High. Can you get me in the door? And he got me in the door, and I've been here ever since.
And look, it started way before that, right? Slidell High School. You played football there. What position was Coach Pettis at back in the Gap?
Linebackers.
All right, so you've been sticking with the linebacker.
Yeah, sticking with my roots.
What number did you wear in high school?
33. I was a big Jamal Adams fan.
All right.
I was a very big Jamal Adams fan. I even tried to dress like him with the wristbands and everything. So I was a big Jamal Adams fan. I just loved the way he played football. He was physical. He flew around. He made plays, and I kind of wanted to, emulate after him.
Hey, Jamal Adams was an absolute star at LSU, went on to play for the Jets. I think he's back with the Titans now. He's been in the NFL for a minute, so that's a great guy to kind of emulate your game after. So always on the defensive side of the football, so it was an easy decision for you when it came to the coaching, what you wanted to do, and that was defensive side?
Well, when I was at UL, I was with the running back, so I was on the offensive side for there. But once I got to Carencro, Coach Corville kind of asked, where do you think you want to – Coach Corville and Coach Peters asked kind of where do you think you want to go, and I was like, linebackers, it was my roots. It was always my heart was defense, so I always said I wanted to get back to the defensive side of the ball, and, it's been there since.
So, this is a pretty big jump. I mean, you're in your third year of coaching. You're already a defensive coordinator. Where does that inspiration come from? Who did you learn the most from to get to where you're at today?
Really, Coach Peters. I learned a lot. I started off, kind of trying to emulate under Jaluk. When I was in the marketing department, I took a class at UL. It was a sports management class, and the then assistant athletic director, he said one thing that kind of stuck out to me. He said, find one person and get underneath their coattail. Find one person at the top and get underneath their coattail and, just learn from them. So I always try, if there's somebody that I work underneath, I'm always buying them, asking, what can I do? Doing anything that they ask, trying to get better. And I did that with Coach Luke, and then once I got to Carencro, I've been kind of, riding under Coach Peters ever since.
And, Coach Peters is a film rat. He's a guy who's going to live in the lab and really break down film, and that's where he tells me a lot of times. This is where we win a lot of football games, at this table. Right. That's where we win a lot of football games. Is that something that you've kind of come accustomed to doing as well, and you live in the film room? Yeah, you
can ask his little brother. Every time when I come home after practice or something, I go take a shower and then start watching the film. We're watching the film on weekends, watching the film throughout the week. That's the only way. I feel like that's the only way. That's the only way that I know as far as coaching.
And when you look at your defense this year, it's been multiples. I mean, you a three-man front, four-man front. You play a little dime. Sometimes you're in the nickel. What if you had your base defense and you would, have your choice to play one style? What defense would you pick?
Well, if we had the players, true 4-3.
Okay.
True 4-3. 4 down, 3 linebackers, whether it's 3 in the box or 1 backer in the box with 2 overhangs. I just think that's kind of it's simple for the players, all right, and it's sound. Simple and sound. You cover everything. You cover all your bases. Every single gap is covered. If you can match every route vertical and you can cover every single gap and have a quarterback player and a running back and a dive player, it's a good defense.
Hey, you get some playmakers that could play on the outside, and you're talking about a very good defense. If you're just joining us, this is the GP. Are You With Me? Carencro Coaches Show live on the Carencro Bears Network each and every Tuesday night right here at Pizzaville, USA. And, of course, we're also sponsored by the Ground Patty, 505 West Pont de Mouton. If you want to head over there, Thursday night they have steak night, Friday night's live music, and Sunday, bottomless mimosas if you want to gear up for the NFL action. So, Coach, look, season didn't start out how we wanted. 0-3, played a gauntlet of a schedule. How are you keeping this defense focused and on their toes and motivated going into district play?
One thing that we've been trying to say is, we got to wash the past couple of weeks. We got to wash the past couple of weeks. It's a learning lesson. Week 1 we played really well defensively. One of the best defensive showings since I've been here. And then the past 2 weeks we haven't. And so that kind of goes to show you can't live off of your last performance. It's always what you do now. So, and we say, law of the jungle is win, and it's an acronym. It stands for what's important now. And the only thing that's important is the task ahead of you. So what happened last week in the past, that doesn't matter. You know, big thing we're breaking down on every single break we get is 1-0. Be 1-0 in everything we do. You know, and the goal for this week is just to be 1-0. That's the only focus. Not what happened in the past, not what's happening in the future. Be 1-0.
And winning cures everything, right?
Yeah, it
Winning makes everything
does.
a little bit better. What about your philosophy as far as getting after the quarterback?
You know, we try to pressure as much as we can. You know, I'm definitely an aggressive guy. You know, the staff, the whole entire staff, you know, we're aggressive. We like to get after people. We don't like to just sit there and dictate. You know, we solve problems with aggression. That's kind of the philosophy we have defensively. We solve problems with aggression. So we don't believe in just letting the quarterback sit there and pat the ball. You know, we're going to try and find ways to get after him. Whether it's a sim pressure, whether we send the house, you know, we're going to try and find ways to get after the quarterback.
Quarterback for Barb was a freshman last year, and pretty darn good one. We caught him earlier in the season. He got better and better each week. So far this year, Barb's off to a much better start. And they kind of do it a number of different ways. You know, they're not just a one style on the offensive side. How are you guys looking to stop the Bucs, and what kind of threats does the quarterback position pose to you this week?
You know, it's an acronym that we got from Pete Golden, the defensive coordinator at Ole Miss. It's AAKTF. It stands for Alignment, Assignment, Key, Technique, Finish. The third letter in that is key. All right, that stands for getting your eyes to the right guy. So this is the big week that we have to key. You know, they're a screen team. They motion. You know, we got to be able to handle all of that different type of action. You know, they try to play games with your mind. They don't just line up in one formation. Some teams like the STMs of the world, they line up in one thing, and they're really good at what they do. You know, Barb, they do a lot of different things. They get in formations, they motion. They try to get the ball to their playmakers in a lot of different ways. So it's just us, you know, keying, getting our eyes to the right spot, and just our guys making plays in one-on-one situations.
As we wrap up right now with Carencro defensive coordinator, Coach Kobe Pettis, look, I got a couple of questions about the offensive side of the ball. You guys share a lot of players. They used a lot of your guys a lot of snaps last week, and down the stretch you saw some tired legs. What kind of decision making is that an entire staff decision when they'll talk about using guys like BA on the offensive side or using guys like TJ Jackson? Is that something that you'll talk about Sunday going into the week or throughout the game?
Yeah, so in our staff meetings every Sunday, you know, we go over depth chart, we go over personnel, who's getting reps here, who's getting what here, and we try our best to, you know, we share, but we try our best to not have to if we don't have to, but it's just so hard with the limited numbers that we have. And we try to put the best 11 guys out there at every single time, at every single position. So, you know, that's how we've been able to win games so far, and I just don't see it. I don't really see the issue with it, you know. I think it helps us and it hurts us. You know, they get tired at the end, but, you know, again, I'd rather have my best guy out there, you know, than somebody who's not the best, you know.
Totally get it. And, look, only 3 years in the coaching game, but – man, you're cool, calm, and collected. I'm lucky to share a press box with you each week, and I get to see you up there. You're not really an animated guy. You're really locked in. How are you able to control your emotions in the press box?
You know, one thing we say is have a cool head with a hot game. You know, cool head with a hot game. So and also, you know, being a defensive coordinator, you know, I'm the leader of the defense. So I just believe that if the players, you know, me being in the box, they can't see me. But if I'm on the headset, you know, if the players see me flustered, see me, you know, getting emotional and all that, they're going to do the exact same. So I got to be the leader and be, you know, the person that I want the players to be. You know, when things go wrong, we tell them you got to manage the highs and lows of the game. You got to stay calm. So when things get too high, you can't get too high. When things get too low, you can't get too low. You know, and I got to practice what I preach.
Well, I'm going to try to fluster you before I let you get out of here. Offensive coordinator Coach Joey Dwyer had one question I had to get out to you. He wants to know what's the score when you guys go goal line at practice.
It's 6-1 right now. It's 6-1 right now.
You're figuring out a way to stop that veer?
Oh, man, it's hard. It's hard, but we going to keep fighting. You know, we break on this every week, spot the ball. So it don't matter. We spot the ball.
Coach, appreciate you joining me today. It was great to get to know you a little bit better. Look forward to the game Friday night.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
We're going to step aside, but when we come back, GP is going to sit back with us, and we're going to preview that game against the Barb Bucs right here on your home for Carencro High Football, Carencro Bears Network.
Are you a jambalaya fan? And would you like to eat all-you-can-eat jambalaya for only $10? If the answer is yes, then come out and support Carencro's Bears Kickdown Club at their 3rd annual Jambalaya Cook-Off. There will be food, music, live and silent auctions, and a whole lot of fun available to you. And for my cooks, sign up so we can see who really has the best jambalaya around. This will all take place on October 26, 2024 at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Save the date you don't want to miss.
pump the party. Misdemeanor Kendall, pump the party. Prime time Kendall, pump the party. Lil Squirrel Kendall, pump the party. Black Minutes Kendall, pump the party. D-Slim Kendall, pump the party. Lil Lip Kendall, pump the party. Old Boy Kendall, pump the party. Mr. Cole Kendall, pump the party. Forty T Kendall, pump the party. Big Boy Kendall, pump the party. CC Kendall, pump the party. Who run this? Who rule it? Who run this? Who rule it? Who run this? Who rule it? Who run this? Who rule it?
Are you a jambalaya fan? And would you like to see all you can eat jambalaya for only $10? If the answer is yes, then come out and support Karen Crow's Bears Kickdown Club at their 3rd annual Jambalaya Cook-Off. There will be food, music, live and silent auctions, and a whole lot of fun available to you. And for my cooks, sign up so we can see who really has the best jambalaya around. This will all take place on October 26, 2024 at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Save the date you don't want to miss.
Welcome back to the Karen Crow Bears Network for the GP. Are You With Me? Karen Crow Coaches Show live from Pizzaville, USA. I'm Blaine Viatar, and I'm joined again by my guy, Coach Gavin Peters. Coach, I hope you were able to enjoy a little pizza. Everything was good out there?
Yeah, I just had a little salad, man. A little salad. The crustless pizza waiting for me when I get back.
I got you, man. We have a nice crowd out tonight, getting more and more people out
That's
there.
right.
And look, we want to encourage
Hey, man,
all of you guys.
everything at Karen Crow High School and in the community of Karen Crow is doing well right now. We got to find a way to win some games, man. We kind of joked about that. You know, we said that, the last couple of years, we might not have had, the best facilities. We might not have had the best brand, and now we've kind of have worked and got those things, but when we didn't have those things, we were winning games, and somehow we got to find a way to win some games, so.
Coach Pettis and I were just talking about how winning cures everything. I mean, you start winning and
hey, it's winning and it's misery, bro. Ain't no in between, man. I think Bill Parcells said that years ago. Ain't no in between. There's winning and there's misery. Ain't nothing else.
Before we turn our attention to Barb, you talked about the facilities, and I want to kind of touch on that. We put the finishing touches over at the stadium today. The gates got put in and the archway got put in, reached the open air Crow Dome. Boy, it looks sweet.
Yeah, man. Look, we want to be first class in everything that we do. That's one of the things that I've been telling our kids. They were pretty shocked when they arrived to Zachary. I even asked Miss Knott when we met Monday morning. I said, had you ever been to Zachary before? She said no. And, just what an unbelievable place that is. And we're trying to bring stuff like that to Karen Crow High School. We're trying to bring stuff like that to the community of Karen Crow so that our kids and our next generations can experience that, So they're actually breaking ground. They started digging the dirt for the field house today. I ain't have many things to smile about in the past month. I ain't gonna lie, I smiled when I saw that, But we're just trying to get as many new infrastructure. When I started kind of seeing new infrastructure going on in the parish, it wasn't going on at Karen Crow High School, and I kind of started asking why, and eventually I found out why. And we've just got some good things going. We'll have a new press box soon. We'll have a new AOIT Academy building very soon. That's going to be state-of-the-art for our Karen Crow Bears Network and all other technological things that happens at Karen Crow High School. So just very, very excited about the way the school can look 2 to 3 years from now. Acadiana High School is a completely different school than when I left in 2017. And I'm hoping that when we have people come back 2, 3 years from now, it's a completely different school than 2020, 21, 22, 23.
And as we look at this year, 2024 Barb Bucks team, it's a completely different team than we saw a year ago. A year ago, we saw them limp in. They hadn't won a football game yet. Much different this year. I mean, they went toe-to-toe with Airline, lost a 3-point high-scoring affair in Week 1. They beat Lake Charles College Prep in Week 2, 34-28. There's athletes for days at Lake Charles College Prep. And then, look, they beat a semifinal team in Northwest a year ago in Week 3, 35-32. These Barb Bucks, they could put up the points in bunches and then they could get after it.
Absolutely. I have a lot of experience with Barb going back to my time at Acadiana. What a phenomenal program and what a phenomenal group of coaches. Got a lot of respect for Coach Skeet, who's now the head coach, Coach Damari. He's been a guy that I've been really good friends with and have admired from afar for a pretty long time. Coach Cotrera, just a tremendous staff and operation that they've always had, and they've had some unfortunate things that have kind of transpired the last couple of years. we're kind of feeling some of the effects of the things that they're feeling. When you have new schools that are built right around the corner from you, that kind of can have a little bit of an impact, and then they also had the unfortunate natural disaster with the hurricane, and it just kind of shook their program up a little bit. But look, they do a phenomenal job, always have, and they'll continue to do it. And you can kind of see that they're kind of getting their program back, and they're a hell of a team, man, hell of a team. They've done a hell of a job, and I'm happy for those guys, man, because everything's about perspective, right? And I've been blessed in my career, where I've experienced a lot of highs and I've experienced a lot of success, and kind of being on the other side of it right now, it just puts things in much more perspective. You have a lot more respect for the coaches who do go through tough times and who might not be coaching, the best of players, or who don't have the best of resources, or the tough schedules, whatever the case may be. And those guys have kind of been dealt a bad hand the last couple of years, and I'm just happy to see them kind of getting their foot back and having some success.
Hey, a year ago, we saw them. They trotted out a freshman quarterback, and you could see the potential there.
That's right.
You could see that, he was going to be pretty good, and week by week he got better last year. And this year he's off to a good start. What kind of challenges on the offensive side of the football do they present to us?
They've always been really, really good up front, They're very tough to defend schematically. Tons of formations, tons of motions, tons of adjustments, and they've always been very precise. You always kind of get a synopsis or a personality of a team within the first 5 clips when you watch. And my first thought process about them was they were very precise. I admired the precision. That they're operating with offensively right now, and that's what I yearn for us to be. And that's what we've always been, kind of very precise like they are right now, and we're just not there. It's almost flipped. I watched last year's game, a couple times so far this week, and I texted our coaches, the crying emojis, I even text Cashmere Baptiste today. I said, hey, dog, you got any more years of eligibility left? He said, Coach, I wish, Coach. He said, Coach, I just turned 18. You think I can get – so
we could use them 28 touchdowns the other year ago.
Huh? I'm watching the film last year, and I'm like, golly, man, we were firing on all cylinders at this point in the year, man. I mean, running a complete offense, not missing a beat, and just nothing stays the same. You either get better or you get worse, and every team is different, and we're just kind of, going through some growing pains right now. But I just admire the precision that Barb is operating with offensively right now, and I hope that we can get that way soon.
If the track record looks the same, you're going to have to put up way more points than you did so far this year. I mean, they're averaging over 40 points a ball game. How the offense is going to do it? What's going to be the vehicle that gets you there?
Well, no different than any other week. We've got to win a line of scrimmage. We've got to win a line of scrimmage. We've got to make plays in space on the perimeter. Defensively, once again, we got to win a line of scrimmage. We have to tackle. We didn't tackle very well last week. There were plenty of times where we had those guys in the backfield for some TFLs and didn't finish. The scoop and score before half shouldn't have even happened, because on 3rd and 15 they ran a screen play. We retraced the screen. We have a call up front, to kind of put us in position to defend it. We made that call. We got to tackle 7 yards in the backfield, and then it breaks out, and he gets tackled at the 1 yard line, and then they snap it over the head the very next play. So we got to tackle better. And then obviously, we've got to defend their playmakers in space and limit explosive plays. That never changes, and we've got to put a complete game of special teams together. In some ways we are a lot better special teams wise than maybe in the years past, but in some ways, man, we're just getting burned right now on critical special teams issues, and we've got to clean all of that up.
With Duangel, your leading return man going into last week, I know he's out for the season for now. How do you kind of plan to spell him and utilize other guys back there?
Yeah, Rontrell Woods is he's a junior. He hasn't played a lot of football. Unfortunately, he got hurt last year, I think week 2 or week 3, and broke his collarbone, and he didn't come back until the week we played Acadiana in the 2nd round. So he's one of those guys that we look at and be like, yeah, he's experienced, but he's really not that experienced, But Rontrell Woods is a very good player. He's another one that, we kind of got to play him on the defensive side of the ball because we need him there. But he would be a really, really good offensive skill player if we had the opportunity to put him there. So he's kind of taken the lead role back there, and then Brandon Duffy, obviously, man, who is a very, very talented kid, probably one of the most talented kids that I've ever been around. Obviously, he's a freshman, and he's having a lot to learn from an accountability perspective, from a discipline perspective, from a work ethic perspective, and we're hoping that as time goes on, that he's kind of a guy that we can live with back there, because he's special. He is special. He is lightning in a bottle. And I think he can be one of the best players in the state of Louisiana and one of the best players in the country. But it's all about him developing right now and becoming a winning football player both on and off the field.
Well, this is going to be the third road game in a row, and the second one in a row that you really have to travel some distance for with a young team. Does that matter? What goes into that line of thinking with a young team hitting the road?
Naturally, I don't think about things like that. I think about I focus on the process of what it takes to win. Look, we're all human, and like we mentioned earlier, these are 14, 15, 16-year-old kids that we're dealing with. So, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't really know, and I just hope that we go down there and play Karen Crow football, which is championship football. Establish the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. Really good skill players that make plays, out there on the perimeter, and good crowd and good night of high school football.
Wrapping up right now with head coach Gavin Peters. Coach, Chance Babineau kind of seems like he's getting his footing and figuring things out on the offensive side of the ball. He's a guy you need down the stretch. What are your thoughts on what you got to do to kind of keep him going?
Yeah, it's been a honeymoon since Bab has been in high school. He obviously lit the world on fire his freshman year. Didn't face a lot of adversity. Sophomore year, broke every record in the history of the school. Faced a little bit of adversity, but it was more so kind of shadow a little bit. And then now he's swimming in it. And the first thing that I told him on Monday was that, hey man, let's just put everything behind us. I said, you and I together, we can get this ship on the right, head in the right direction. And I've been very impressed with him the last 2 days. One of the things that I'm enjoying seeing about him right now is that he's demanding that other people operate to the standard. He's always been a guy that's been mellow and low key and not very assertive, but he's kind of putting his foot down a little bit. And to be one of those guys, you've got to emulate the right things as well. He hadn't always done that. So I'm proud of him and how he's been operating. This week so far. And that was one of the last things that I said today when we broke the team meeting position meeting at the end. I said, what's the hardest thing for a man to do? He said, be consistent. I said, all right, so let's consistently be the way you've been the last 2 days. But look, that young man is special. I think Bajaron from STM's kind of going through it right now too, from what I'm kind of hearing. It's just part of it, man. But look, I'm going through it right now. This is kind of one of the first times in my career.
You grow the most.
That's right. So look, it's just part of it. In life you don't always get heads. Sometimes you get tails, and the greatest measure of a man is his capacity for suffering. In response to failure. So. He's going to be fine. I'm going to make sure that he's going to be fine. And his quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator, Coach Joey Dwyer, going to make sure that he's fine too. So, and we even got another one, Coach Xavier Johnson. So it's all hands on deck right there, brother. It's all hands on deck.
Seth told me he's going to throw up a picture of the new archway over at the open air Crow Dome for our viewers to watch. And look, I know that doesn't win football games, but boy, it's pretty and it makes you feel at home. And I think it does a lot for the fans as well.
No doubt. Look. Did Zachary have something like that? Yeah. Did LCA have something like that? Okay, when we go to STM, do they have something like that? Katie Anna's got something like that? Look, we're a championship program, man. And this is the mothership program in Lafayette Parish, and we should be first class in everything that we do. And as long as I'm going to be here and in charge of things, we're going to strive to be that.
Coach, I knew I was in for a treat when Mr. Joel Hilbin, our statistician, texted me. He said, well, when you get off the elevator, I'm right to your right. When you get off the elevator in the press box, I said, well, hey, it beats lugging up all this equipment up all the stairs.
Yeah, that's what Coach Gonzalez said, man. Coach Gonzalez said, hey, man, we need the Zachary press box, So Mr. Chad, Desormo, Mr. Josh Edmond, if you guys are tuning in, that's our school board members. Let's make it happen, baby. Let's make it happen.
And we made it happen tonight. We want to thank everybody for joining us. Of course, our guy, Gavin Peters, head football coach, Miss Phyllis Sashon, the head of the Link crew, as well as Carencro defensive coordinator, Kobe Pettis. I want to thank my guy, Seth Dickerson. He's the director of AOIT, and he makes it all happen behind the scenes. Students Benji Desatel and Colton Abear, as well as our class of 2024, Ross Noel, who does a phenomenal job putting together videos for us each and every week. I want to thank our two sponsors, Pizzaville USA, as well as the Ground Patty. If you want to get in on the action and join the stream and with advertisement, you can hit us up at cbnstream@gmail.com. Drop us a line, and we'll get back to you with all the ad packages that we have for the remaining of the season. Coach, I guess I'll do it again next week. Same
Absolutely,
time, same place.
man. Absolutely. Same time, same place. And then hopefully it's a little bit more celebratory, next week, man. It's just been a rough month. It's been a rough month, but tough times don't last. Tough people do. And I promise you we're going to keep showing up and continue to go into work. And, eventually the sun going to shine on us again.
And if you want to catch the football game Friday night and you can't make it over to Lake Charles, you can tune in to the real Z1059 to Coach Christopher Kovac and I will have all the action starting with pregame at 6:45, kickoff at 7. We'll be back with you next week right here, same time, same place, at your home for Carencro High Football, the Carencro Bears Network.